What up, my ninjas? How are you guys catching the stream on your end? No more hacking? No more crazy stuff going on? Last time I tried to do this, Twitch got hacked. You know, they were trying to prevent me from giving you this juicy information. So let's, I don't want to say let's get right into it. I want to say more like welcome to the educational stream. I'm glad you guys made it. For those of you that are here, I will be letting it go for a little while longer, I guess. I'm not going to talk about anything just yet. I'm sure people are just now getting notifications that I'm streaming again, and I want to give them an opportunity to come in here. Glad to hear the stream is good. I'll probably chat with you guys via text on the chat because it seems to be a little faster. So when you guys say something on there, I might just type it real quick and then just say it again, even though I already typed it, just so people that are listening and are not typing, that are on their mobile devices, can catch everything I'm saying. Let me go ahead and start setting everything up on what I'm going to do, and I'm briefly going to touch on unholdables. And in order to know how unholdables work, you need to know about hidden frame data. Hidden frame data is something that's always been in the game. It's not something that's, I don't want to say it's always been in the game. It's just data that is not shown by the game. There used to be other ways that I used to figure out hidden frame data. They were difficult to find out since the game didn't have active frame data showing all the time. So I had to find out other ways. So I've been doing this for quite some time. So I'm going to just touch back on that. Some of you guys already heard this, so it might be the same thing, but I'm not going to stay on it. I'm not going to stay on that topic too long. I'm just going to kind of get right to the point so you can understand how you can show the hidden frame data, especially in a game like this, since Team Ninja did a really good job of showing frame data in the game continuously. So for the most part, it makes my job a heck of a lot easier, because the way I used to do it back in the day was just time consuming. So now with the information on the screen, it's a heck of a lot easier. I won't be doing what do you call it? I won't be doing shout outs like I normally do on all my streams. This is more a little different. This is more I guess you can say formal. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sure that everybody gets into the room here, make sure the stream is good. If there's any issues with the streams, you guys just let me know, and I'll try to do whatever I can to get back on, because last time I didn't like the fact that we were just getting chopped up. This time I think we're good. I think Twitch is good, so we're all good. So welcome. I welcome you all into the stream, the educational stream, my ninjas. This is the Ninja Hideout. I know the stuff I talk about in this stream, you're supposed to keep to yourself. That's all. That's what it's all about. That's what it takes to be a ninja. You got to keep secrets to yourself. I'm joking, of course. I mean, obviously this is going to be public, but I want to welcome you all here. All the things I talk about here are usually stuff that I'm digging into most of the time, because I think a common question is, why do I not move with Hayabusa? And granted, Hayabusa has changed every single game, so he's technically a new character every time. But every time they change him, that means I have to go into his data and find out what has changed in the hidden frame data. So that's always a little different. So that's why I'm always practicing with them. And there's so much hidden frame data for just one particular character that it's hard to know everyone's. You can know specific setups, but you won't know all the frames for every character like that. Let's see here. Yes, if you guys don't know, I'm reading the chat, by the way. I'll be looking back and forth, and I'll open it to questions every now and then. So right now I won't be really answering any questions, but as soon as I'm done speaking on a subject, then I'll go back and I'll check if you guys are have any questions, and I'll try to keep up with the stream. I know you guys tend to type fairly quickly, so I'll do what I can. Arch Ghoul says, new DOA version coming out, you'll have to do everything all over again. Funny story. The things I talk about, and this is why it's very, very exclusive to what I do in the Ninja Hideout and why I keep it to myself sometimes. The things that I look to are things that are very deep into the game in the sense of like things that you can't see, things that you don't know, but they apply to every single DOA game ever launched. So this information, although it's new to you guys, is actually very old to me, but it's very important. It can take you to the next level if you want to, you know, do the legwork with your character. And I like to find this kind of stuff because it's a fundamental. I'm very big on fundamentals. I always talk about, you know, whiff punishment, throw punishment, all this stuff, knowing where you're supposed to be, which is why I reframe data as well, because it kind of gives you an idea of what works. Even if a new DOA comes out, it doesn't matter. It'll apply. It'll still apply. It wouldn't matter. The only thing that may not apply is maybe like something like unholdables. Maybe that may not apply, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the hidden frame data that's shown on the screen isn't useful. It's very useful to you because it'll let you know if after a throw, an attack, or a certain juggle, if you're recovering or if they're recovering. The game, for the most part, does a really good job of telling you when you are recovering and when you're not recovering, but there's certain situations where it does not. So that's why I'm teaching you guys. I'm spreading the knowledge to you guys on stuff that has been with the game for a very long time. What's going on, everybody? Come on in. I'm trying to make sure there's a lot of people in here before I start. I don't want to get started and then have people be like, oh man, I missed it. I do plan to archive it so you guys will see it later, but I know a lot of people are trying to watch it now so they can kind of get a head start and start messing with the tech now. So seems like there's a good amount of people in here. So I might get started in the next minute or two. First things first, if you guys don't know, just like somebody just said right now, there is a new DOA coming out. And they're right, there is a new DOA coming out. New DOA, Dead or Alive 5 last round. It'll be out on Xbox One and PS4. And I believe it'll also be on 360 and the PS3. Of course, this stream is powered by none other than my ninjas. You guys in the chat, you guys are all my ninjas, and that's the reason this stream is up today. As long as I keep getting my ninjas back, I'll keep coming back. I'm just gonna say hello to everybody. I'm not doing special shoutouts. It's a class. It's more of a class this time. So if I'm not giving shoutouts, you guys know why. I don't do shoutouts in these kind of streams. But I do want to say hello to everyone that's coming in. The game, the DOA5 last round should be coming out sometime next year. My guess would be September, but I really don't know. And if I did, I probably couldn't tell you anyway. Oh my god. Alright guys, I think we're going to start it up. I don't want to spend that much time waiting on everybody, but it looks like a good chunk of you guys are in here. I'm looking at the list, and there's a lot of you guys in here, so that's good. I did want to know how much the interest was for these kind of streams. The last one was very impressive. I would assume this one would be just as impressive, if not more. If we get more, that would be great, because it tells me that I should be doing more of these in the future, and that my time is not being essentially wasted. I'd hate to waste my time, because I could be, you know, doing several other things, or just bringing up my A game with Hayabusa. You know, I got to get good too. You know, I'm trying to stay on your guys' level. You know what I mean? So if you guys share the stream, I greatly appreciate it. For those that are interested in DOA and trying to learn the game, obviously this is not basic stuff, so I will lose some people in this classroom more than I did the last one. There will be tons of questions. You guys can ask them, so I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible, and I'll try to get to all of them and answer them thoroughly. It's okay if your financial aid hasn't come through. You can still enjoy the class. Here we go, guys. Okay, so briefly, I just want to touch up on hidden frame data. So this is what I'm going to do. A lot of the stuff I'm talking about, even after the hidden frame data, has nothing to do with stuns. So this is actually very important because it's not stun dependent. You don't have to stun your opponent in particular to find out what's going on. There'd be other reasons to do that, but in this case, we're not going to worry about stuns. So the reason I mentioned that is because when you come over here to recovery, stagger escape and all that stuff, you don't have to mess with the stagger escape or anything below throw escape, really. You're just going to mess with recovery. You're going to need that on. So for this portion of the class, I'm going to talk about the hidden frame data. So you'll need that on, and you'll also need the computer's reaction to be hold as well. It can be a mid, high. I usually don't mess with low, but It doesn't matter if it's a low either because he's not in stun, so it should qualify. But I usually go high or any of the mids, so I'm just going to put mid punch in this case. Counters, I'm going to leave it neutral right now, normal hit status instead of counter hit status or high counter hit status. So I'm just going to leave it on neutral. Power blow, I always just leave on. There's a reason for that. Later on, I might explain. But it's not really important information. It's just I just leave it on for a particular reason that's important to me. So right now, as you can see, when I tap the computer, they'll hold. If I knock them down, they'll get up, and then they'll hold. And that's kind of the idea. That's what I want. Now, the example I'm about to go through right now is very simple example. I showed it the last time. And the reason I have them hold, now you don't always have to have them hold if you don't want to, but I prefer you do. It's more accurate that way. And it involves math. So any of you guys have seen this before, seen this in the last stream, it will involve a little bit of math. So I'm going to show you how this works. Actually, I am going to change. No, I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to do this. So, as you notice, I'm sure you can see the frame data. The frame data says that my advantage is 0 frames. In reality, that's false. There's no such thing that I don't want to say there's no such thing. There's no possible way that my frame advantage is at 0. It's impossible. I mean, if I'm knocking them down like this and I'm running towards them, how is my advantage 0? I mean, I'm obviously, if I was at 0, I wouldn't be able to move until he actually did the hold. So that is incorrect information. And there's no data there. Now you got to make the data come out. In order to make the data counter count, you can do several things. But just so you guys understand that there is frame data, I'm going to show you that the data counter. There's not a glitch right now. You'll see it counting right there. So you'll see that he's stunned. He's not stagger escaping or anything. So it's like a big amount of frame advantage. So when I do this, you're going to see it not count. And this is 0. Now when I do this, if you have the user, not the computer, you hold twice. In this case, you're going to have to hold twice. You're not going to always hold twice, and I'm going to show you other examples. But in this case, you have to hold twice because that's how much frame advantage you have. You have that much frame advantage that you'd have to hold twice to see it. So this is how it works. See how the data counter just started counting? Now it says I'm +8. So that's how many frames I have of advantage. Well, I'm not +8. I'm more than +8. I'm just going to talk about +8 for just a quick second. I'm +8 right now because I held twice. On the second hold, we both held, and I was +8 after that. So if I count the first hold, which is technically 31 frames, I know the hold comes out in 0 frames, but that's technically, I don't know how you can say it. I guess in a development standpoint, that's impossible. You can't have something that comes out in 0 frames. You can have like an invincibility frame and then have the hold come out and make it seem like it comes out in 0 frames, but it's not true. So the hold is 31 frames. So 31 frames plus 8 frames means I'm plus 39 frames. After that knockback, as he's rolling backwards, I'm plus 39 frames. So I have 39 frames to do whatever I want. So if I want to do this, I'll go like this and I'll do that. See? So I'll have enough frames to do something like that. It'll whiff, of course, because that is not enough frames for it to meet up with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually plus more frames than that. So I need to do another move that's potentially slower or wait until the right frame so I can hit him. So in this case, I'm going to try to do this move. This will actually hit. See? That move is so long that it would reach at that time. So I hope you guys understand that. So if you guys understand that, please let me know, so I can kind of move forward and show you the next example of how this hidden frame data works. Okay, so now that you know hidden frame data, now you can we're gonna move on to the unholdable. So an unholdable was something I found out a while back, several months back. At this point, it was before DID. I found out a situation where you couldn't hold after a tech roll. Now, one thing I want to get out the way is that the unholdables do not apply to any rollback tech rolls. So if you roll back just like the one I just did right now, an unholdable would not apply to that tech roll. So that tech roll doesn't apply to unholdable setups. And if you try it 1,000 times and you're successful consistently, let me know. But I have yet to find anything like that. I've gotten to the point where I essentially kind of given up on it. I occasionally mess with it, but I still get caught being held. So I found a situation where an unholdable happen after you tech roll. The easiest one you can do this with Hayabusa if you guys are all in training mode, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are, so you guys can test the same things I'm testing right now as you watch the stream, rather it be from your phone, your laptop, or even your Xbox, I guess. If you're using the Xbox, you probably wouldn't be able to do it, but if you're on your Xbox and you're watching on your phone, your tablet, or your PC, you can test this. This works 100% right now. I'm hoping that it does not get patched. I think it's a viable tactic. I don't think it's overpowered. So this is how you're going to do it. So after Hayabusa's forward throw, the computer techs up. When the computer techs up, obviously you have advantage because I can run up to him. But the game is not showing it to me, unfortunately. So after I do it, if I hold, it'll show it to me. So I held once that time. You see what I'm saying? So when I held that one time, and the computer held, we both have 31 frame holds. So I'm plus 19 frames. Now, one thing you guys have to understand: this is how the unholdable math works, and how the game works. For 19 frames, the computer or the opponent is cannot do anything. On the 20th frame, they're allowed to do something. Okay, on the 20th frame, they're allowed to do a punch, a throw, a low attack, whatever. They can even do a hold, and they can even do a sidestep. But the problem with those two options is this eliminates those two options, by the way. It eliminates sidestep and eliminates holds. So it's unsidesteppable. I should really call it unsidesteppable, unholdable. But I think everybody gets the idea that it's if it's unholdable, then it's unsidesteppable. So again, for 19 frames, that's your total frame advantage. On the 20th frame, they can attack. In this case, the hold takes 1 frame to activate, and so does a sidestep. So that means on the 20th frame, they cannot hold you. They cannot sidestep either. On the 21st frame, they could, but on the 20th frame, they cannot. So it's not allowed. So this move right here, if any of you guys know DOA's frame data since the very beginning, this move is 18 frames. But anybody that studied even frame data a little bit knows that it doesn't actually come out on the 18th frame. I'm not sure why Team Ninja did it this way or why they never fixed it. I mean, we're not even going to get into that. The point is, the move doesn't come out on the 18th frame. It comes out on the 20th frame. So this is important because, like I just told you, you have plus 19 frames, and in the 20th frame, they could potentially punch you, but they can't hold you just yet because the hold frame isn't active yet. The hold frame won't be active until the 21st frame. But this move is going to hit you at least by the 20th frame. We just established that. I just told you the math for it. So I'm going to do it, and then you're going to notice that the computer is not going to hold it. And there you go. So that's an unholdable and an unsidesteppable move as well. There's different ways to do it. There's different ways to do it. This is the easiest way, only because Hayabusa's forward throw applies to everybody. So the reason I say that is because it doesn't matter if you're lightweight, midweight, or heavyweight. The way you tech roll is always going to be the same. And this setup, or all these setups, only apply to people that tech roll. So obviously, if you don't tech roll, I'm kind of vulnerable for a little bit. I have some other options I can defend myself with, but you know, you won't get caught up on that. You know, of course, you can block. Block is always the option. Is probably the best option. You got no other option really. Once you tech roll, you gotta block, or else you're gonna get slapped in the face. Block is still possible. Block is still an option. That's not completely taken out. I want you guys to know that this doesn't apply to force techs. So if you force tech somebody, they can hold you. Okay, so this only applies to people that tech roll. The next setup I'm gonna do is a slightly different setup. Let's see if I can do it. Well, I'm gonna just do this one. There are certain juggles in the game that'll make you land on the floor at the exact same time every time. Not every character has juggles or moves that do this. So if you don't, and you're doing a regular juggle, let's say I launch them and I do punch, punch, back punch, forward punch, and they tech roll, that'll change. The frame advantage that I have will change depending on the weight class every time. So if it's a lightweight, they'll land on the floor later. If it's a heavyweight, they'll land on the floor sooner, and I'll have to do the research for all those weight classes. So that'll be extra legwork. But of course, if you have a juggle, like let's say for example this one makes everybody fall on the floor at the exact same time and tech roll the exact same way. Okay. This one is another one that applies. The only difference with this one is when they land right there, if they tech roll back, it adds frames. I don't want to say it adds frames. It's a different amount of advantage. If they tech roll to the side, rather it be to the background or the foreground, when they tech, like in that case right there, the frame advantage is the same. If they tech roll back, it's a different frame advantage. So just keep that in mind. This is more information that I didn't mention the first time, so this is probably some notes that you guys might want to take down to combos that end like this. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't really matter how high they are. This combo makes them fall at the same time. Again, those backflip ones, like the one I'm just doing right now, will make them will give you a different amount of frame advantage if they tech roll back. For this kind of combo right here, it doesn't matter. Rather they tech back to the side, doesn't matter. The frame advantage is going to be consistently the same. Most people don't tech back, especially if you're near a wall or you're getting close to a wall. But it is a good option though. But some people don't. They're just trying to get up. They're trying to make sure they don't get caught up in any kind of ground game or something like that. So most of the time they'll tech roll to the side. So in this case, I'm going to show you another unholdable setup. And but before I show it to you, I'm going to show you the frame advantage and how the math adds up again. So I held. I'm plus 26. That's how much frame advantage I actually have. They will not be able to hold until the 28th frame. They can do the hold command for it to come out on the 27th frame, but the hold won't become active until the 28th frame. Right off the bat, just by seeing this 26, that means the 27th frame is unholdable. I already know that off the bat. It's like, oh, okay, I'm plus 26. 27th frame is the frame they can't hold. Is the frame they can't sidestep either. So I need a move that lands on the 27th frame. So I gotta look at my character and figure out what does. In this case, Hayabusa's move, which is 25 frames, as we know better, you gotta add 2 frames to that move. That means it lands on the 27th frame. So that means that move, technically speaking, should land on the proper frame, and they should not be able to hold it. So I'm gonna go ahead and prove that theory right now. And there you go. So he couldn't hold it. So this works every single time. There's obviously other setups you can do, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys understand that. I hope you guys understand that. I just saw a quick question. I'm just looking through the chat real quick. I saw a quick question. Does it apply to Alpha 152? I haven't tested the data. I'd have to test the data. I have to test their tech rolling. I want to say it probably does not, but you never know. It's only a matter of just doing a move. Like let's say I do something like this, and then I just do that, and then have her tech roll, and then do the math by doing the hold, because she can obviously still hold. It's not a real hold, obviously, but still, you can still do the hold, do the math, and then find out what move is unholdable, and then test it. If it works, then you'll know. Okay, one more time. So he's supposed to hold mid-punch, just so you guys see it. He's holding mid-punch. So that's what he's supposed to be holding. So I'm going to do it one more time. Oh my god, the command. Hold on. What? Oh my god. Hold on. This D-pad is really bad, guys. There you go. So I'm going to do it again, because I know I was messing around here. Oh, he teched back. The frames didn't change there. He was just too far, just so you guys know. It's just the move completely whiffed. That's all that happened. So there you go. See that? Technically speaking, if the opponent was dumb enough to try to tech roll and hold every time, that would be technically loopable. You know what I'm saying? You can loop it over and over and over, because that combo makes them land on the floor. It's a hard knockdown type of thing, and it makes them fall on the floor at the same frame every time. So I can potentially do it over and over and over. And I'm going to do it now so you guys can kind of see it. You see what I'm saying? So that's an unholdable, unsidesteppable setup. Are we good? I just want to make sure we're good. All right. Yes. Again, I want to make sure everybody understands that you can block it. It is blockable. All these options are blockable. So technically, he could just block and throw punish me. Certain situations, though, are better than others. So you got to take that into consideration as well. So in some cases, even though you block it, like in this case, if they were to block this move right here, I would be fine with that because I'm technically left at 0, and my next move is like 12 frames. So yeah, you could hold high, but that's where the mix-up begins, and plus I pushed you back at the same time. So it's a really good setup. You know, some characters will have a setup where they're, you know, left at a either positive frames or very little disadvantage. So it's a good exchange. You know, in some cases, it's like, you know what, I'm gonna tech roll, and then before you block it, it's okay. You can block every single setup. But again, remember, some setups are gonna be better than others. I'm gonna show you another setup. This is based on the math as well. Check this out. This is if you study really hard, if you look up and do all the math with your character. 214 as a punch. Yeah, there is a setup for that, but we're not gonna get into that yet. There's several different setups. You just gotta do the work. So I'm giving you guys the knowledge, and I'm gonna let you guys do the legwork to find out more setups. I know a lot of setups, and I can go over them all day, but we don't have enough time for that. I'm just gonna show you another setup. Some setups, like I said, are better than others. This happens to be a really good setup. Hold on. As you can see, it's an unholdable setup. You can't sidestep it, and if you were to block it, then I would get a guaranteed move afterwards. I could get 4 punch guaranteed, and then you have to guess on the mix-up. I'm gonna do it one more time, and so you guys can see. So we good? You guys are getting it? I'm gonna show you how good that setup is. Okay, that's a little insane. It's not that insane. It's okay. I'm gonna have the computer block. So like I said, some setups are better than others. In this case, I'm gonna have them guard everything after they get up. So in this case, I'm gonna show you the same setup right here. Well, he didn't tech the way I wanted him to. See, he blocked it, so it's blockable. For those other setups like the power blow and things like that, charge attacks, they're blockable, but essentially they become unblockable. They're blockable, unblockable setups. So it's unholdable, unsidesteppable, blockable, unblockable setups. As much sense as that can make. So I'm gonna show you exactly how this works. And that's guaranteed. So that punch, they can't hold it. That whole thing, if they got up that way, all that is guaranteed. So after the guess as to what's going to happen next. You know what I'm saying? Are they going to try to hold? Will I Izuna drop them? You know, what's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? Does everybody follow me so far, though? Okay, so now you guys understand how it works. Here's a word of advice though. If you knock somebody on the wall like that, and you're trying to figure out how fast, how many frames you have, you got to do more math. The more frame advantage you have, if you have like a lot of frame advantage, in this case I would have a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? If I knock something like that, I have a lot of frame advantage. The frame advantage is being shown on screen is incorrect because that's not the one you're trying to find out. You're trying to find the other one, which is hidden from you. Again, this is the hidden frame data. This is the more hidden frame data class. So when you go like this, and you go like that, you got to hold sometimes up to 3 times, depending on how you have it. But you got to make sure you have the computer on hold. So you got to make sure you guys are on the same page right here. So you'll do it like this. Okay, so I held twice and the frame counter still said 0. So that's incorrect. I need to do it 3 times now. So that's 3 holds. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys this quick example because a lot of people had questions about this. Like after I showed them, they're like, hey master, how come the frame data saying this? I'm knocked them into the wall. I'm trying to find out. I held twice. In this case, I had to hold 3 times to find out how much frame advantage I have. It's telling me I'm +7. Obviously, I'm more than +7. I'm +7 plus 2 more additional holds. And each hold, like I told you before, is 31 frames. So that means it's 62 plus 7. So 62 plus 7 will be 69 frames. And then the 70th frame is the unholdable one. So that's like knowledge you guys don't even know yet. Like I didn't break it down like that. So this is new to a lot of you guys. So remember, I had to hold 3 times. On the 3rd hold, I finally found out how much frame advantage I had. I have to add 2 more holds, complete holds to that. So that means plus 69 total frame advantage. The 70th frame is the unholdable one. I know, mind blown. Okay, you guys can get mind blown in here. I know I'm gonna lose a few of you on this one, and I'm gonna lose a lot more of you guys later right now because I'm about to tell you some shit that's gonna make your mind hurt. Alright, so everybody seems to understand it. Obviously, once I'm done for the most part, I'll answer questions on my Twitter, my Facebook, on the chat, and everywhere else. So I'm just trying to keep a steady pace moving forward. Correct. That's a good answer. Feather or FeatherX just said, since you're +70, that means you would need to move the lance on the 68th frame, and that is correct. 100% correct. Obviously, there's no character in the game that I'm aware of that has a move that executes in 68 frames, and I'm gonna come back to that later on at the end of the course. And I'll show you how it works and how tricky it's gonna get. And this is the part where I know I'm gonna lose you, but I'm gonna get there eventually. Okay, so it seems like everybody. Okay, somebody's saying that they're getting 6. Somebody's on their training mode doing the same thing I'm doing. It all depends on the move you do. You might be doing 4 forward punch. 4 forward punch, and I was probably doing 4 forward punch. So each move that you do, that you knock somebody on the wall, plays a big role, actually. So you have to keep notes of that. If I do this and do the same thing, I may not get the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Because up back kick has several active frames. Well, I don't even want to say that because that's going to throw you guys off too. But anyway, up back kick has several frames that it can hit you on. And the follow-up might not hit on the same follow-up as the other one. So just keep that in mind. So any move that you knock on the wall, that's very important. I'm glad somebody said that they're getting different numbers. Depending on how you knock them on the wall, will determine how much frame advantage you have, including the juggle that you do by the wall. So it all plays an important role. It's okay, Dark Owl. I'm gonna try to break it down some more. Alright, so for the most part, it seems like everybody understands this. So it seems like everybody understands this, so I'm gonna move away from this now. The main tactic that was used here is the unholdable setup for people that tech roll. I didn't say anything on the last stream because I wanted to break it down on this stream more than anything else. People were like, well, I don't have the issue about people tech rolling. I have the issue where people don't tech roll. I need to find out how I can exploit that. Well, today is that lesson for you. Okay, this is the lesson where you get to find out how you can do things that would apply, and this applies to hidden frame data as well. But I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to have the computer. I don't need him to guard anymore. I don't need him to do any of this. I just need him to stand. And I need him to tech roll. What you're going to see right now, the data that you're seeing now when they tech roll is important information. It's so important. It's so overlooked. It's ridiculous how much it was overlooked. When I found out this frame data right here, I couldn't find it back in DOA4. There was no way to find out how to find out how your juggles worked and how much time you had to find out untechables. So when DOA Dimensions came out, it was so easy to find untechables because the frame data was there. The frame data was so easy to tell you. So this applies to this would have applied to untechables in vanilla, but because it applied in DOA Dimensions, that's how I know about it. But this information is very important. So check this out. The moment hold on. Oh, I'm gonna have actually I don't even need him to tech roll. I'm gonna find out exactly like this. Hold on. I don't need him to guard either. Why is he guarding? Cool. So there's two different things. I'm about to break down the first one. So the first one right here. When I do this combo, it says I'm plus 32 frames, right? So let's just assume, I don't know, I did a move that would land on there. I would try to land on there like that. Let's just say that, for example. Or where's another one? Okay, let's do this. Perfect example. Is this gonna? Okay, cool. All right. So this data right here, as obvious as it may be, it's actually true data. Like, it seems like it's not real, but it's real. So I hope you guys are keeping up with me here. So that plus 36 is very, very, very important when people don't tech roll. So when people don't tech roll and you see that right there, that is the frame that you need to land on. That's the frame you need to land on your next move for people that don't tech roll. If you're not tech rolling, if your opponent is not tech rolling, that's the frame you need to look up. So let's say you're playing somebody and you're doing your juggles, and this will apply to everybody again, remember. So if I happen to do this to, you know, Sarah or Tengu or whoever, it doesn't matter. That frame is not going to change unless, because they're not being juggled. Now, if they're being juggled, it's a little different unless I do one of these kind of combos or whatever and all that stuff. But that's not the point. The point here is that in this example, that's very important. Now, I'm going to show you something that a lot of people don't know. And this comes back to what I talked about in the first lesson, and that was that the computer has access to certain frames that you don't. And it's BS. I think it's BS, but it's been in DOA since the beginning of DOA time. But in order to find a way to make it seem like it's an actual person, you're going to do this simple step. So if you guys are in training mode, this is what you would do. You would hold, you would make sure you do the record. You see how I'm doing record right now? And then you would do play. Now I'm going to go ahead and do it again and just hit play real quick. Now I have the computer doing nothing. Right now I just have the computer doing nothing. In fact, I'm going to go back to the computer right now. I have the computer doing nothing. I don't want him to tech roll. He's not tech rolling. He's just getting up. So now I'm going to do it where I hit record and I do the same thing. There's a difference. You see how he laid on the floor? That's what I need to see. I need to see him laying on the floor because I need to find out if that frame data is true. So now when I do this, he's going to lay on the floor. And that's what he's supposed to do. Because I'm going to try to land on that 36 frame. That's what I need to land on. Now I'm going to show you again on the computer side. Again, if I go to pause, everything's on default. There's nothing, the computer's not tech rolling, everything's on default. So when I do this setup, it doesn't work the same way. See, it's like I was like, man, technically, if I do this move into that move, it should land on that frame, you know, or close to that frame, because you're supposed to land on that frame or the following frame. It's one of those two frames. And believe it or not, people that don't tech roll, actually, they only have to wait one frame before they can get up and do a get-up kick, which is kind of nuts, but, you know, whatever. At least you know that there are at least 1 to 2 frames where you actually can hit them for not tech rolling. So I'm going to show you now, one more time, this setup. Nothing happens. Now I'm going to show you this. I have him recording doing nothing. I forced them up. You guys see that? I hope you guys are seeing this. This applies to every character in the game. I want you guys to understand that. So if you have a character and you're trying to figure out, oh snap, how do I find out this setups? Do this. I'm telling you, do it right now and you will see the freaking light in this game. You'll see how the ground game and certain setups are a lot more manageable now. And I'll tell you right now, no matter how many times Team Ninja changes this, it's always going to apply. And this is why I like these fundamental things. These are fundamental things related to frame data, like things that that most players don't bother messing with, and you don't need to win a match, obviously. I mean, but it's very helpful. It helps you find more things. Alpha might be an exception. Alpha might be exception. Alpha might be the only character that might be an exception, but I think even with her, if she doesn't tech roll, it should apply. But again, she gets up funny, so I just want people that are asking questions about Alpha, just really quick, so we can knock this out. You shouldn't have to worry about ground game at all with Alpha. She doesn't do get up kicks, so none of this is really that important against Alpha. Your number one priority when you knock down Alpha is just to run up to her and put pressure, because why would you want to force tech Alpha? That's just a waste of energy. So just keep that in mind. This may not apply to Alpha, but it's okay, because Alpha, you know, you have a ground game with Alpha with every character. Let's just put it that way, because she doesn't get up kicks. Yes, somebody's asking, so in this case the move has to be 36 or 37 frames. It has to land on the 36th or 37th frame. Keep that in mind. Everything that I'm talking about has to land on the 36th and 37th frame. And I'm going to talk about, man, I don't want to talk about this yet, but I'm going to have to talk about it because I'm using this particular setup. The reason this setup works, I'm going to show you real quick. So back punch. So let's just get this out the way. This is how you read string frame data. I said in my announcement that I will be talking about string frame data. String frame data is very tricky, to say the least, because you have to do a lot of math. And granted, it's just regular, just plus adding this and adding that, but then you got to do like the calculations because the data on the screen is not correct. So you're just kind of like, okay, I have to do 15 frames, but plus 2 more frames, and then plus these other frames, and it's kind of frustrating. But I know I'm going to lose you guys on this part, so I got to talk about it because I'm doing this particular setup. Back punch is 15 frames, correct? I mean, we can all agree that the move is 15 frames, but we know that we have to add 2 frames to make it technically 17 frames, because that's the frame it lands on. It lands on the 17th frame. The game tells you 15, but we all know it lands on the 17th frame. That number in the middle says 2 on there. That number won't always be 2, but it'll at least at minimum be 2. It's never less than 2 unless it lands like on the first frame or something like that, and that usually only applies to like holds or throws or something like that. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm just going back and forth with the chat. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Anyway, the reason I bring up the middle one is the amount of frames that are active for that move. So that move is going to be active on the 17th frame. I'm going to lose you guys here for sure. I'm going to lose some of you, at least half of you guys. The move is active on the 17th frame, which is why it hits. So that's the first active frame. The second one, number 2, the second active frame is frame 18. So the move is out there for frame 17 and 18, technically speaking. Those ones in parentheses are called active frames. They're called several different things. They're called active frames, effective frames, hit frames, whatever you want to call them. I call them active frames. You can call them whatever the heck you want. So this is important because when it comes to reading string frame data, you need to know that. So this move is 15 frames. You got to add 2 more frames, so it's 17 frames. The move is active for frame 17 and 18 frames. The second move right here, the second move is 18 frames on the fastest execution. So if you wait, of course, it'll be longer. See, it says 26 now. We obviously know that on the fastest input, it's not 26, it's 18. So it's 18, right? But then you got to add 2 frames to that. But before I even get you confused with that, just pretend I didn't even say that. I got to go back to the first one. So this is how you read string frame data. This applies to long strings, short strings, and any kind of string. Okay, here we go. So this move is 17 frames. We had to add 2 frames to the 15. It's active on frame 17 and it's active on frame 18. On 18, you can start counting the second move. The second move, which is 18 frames, which we got to add 2 frames to that, which is 20, right? So it becomes active on 20. So that means you got to add 20 plus the 18. Was it 18? Yeah, was plus the 18 frames I did. So that's, 38. So technically that's 38. It might be 37, but I'm pretty sure it's 38. So it lands on the 38th frame. So this move actually lands, the last hit actually lands on the 38th frame. Does that make sense to you? I know it doesn't, but shit, this is life, people. This is how it works. Which is why it lands. Are we good? I just need to know. I need a nod. I need to know where we're at. I know it's a little tricky, it's a little funky, but that's just, this is how it works. So again, I'm going to go over it really quick because this will take up too much time, and I'll go over it again towards the end, but I'm trying to get to the people that don't tech roll and how that applies. Correct. So Takeda got it right. So it's essentially it's 15 plus 2 frames, plus 1 frame for the active frame, which makes perfect sense. That's exactly how I read it. And then plus 18 plus 2 frames, which would make 38 frames. And for those of you just tuning in, anytime that you see the frame data showing your attacks, this applies to attacks only, guys. Anytime you see your attack, like in this case that says 14, you always have to add 2 more frames to the attack. The jab is not actually 10 frames, it's actually 12 frames. Okay? Just keep that in mind. That's just how the game works. Yes, Kasumi's 9-frame jab is actually not 9 frames, it's 11 frames. So in this case, when you're doing the math, just like Takeda said, you're adding 2 frames to the 15th, which makes it 17 frames. Then you got to add another frame because the move is active for frame 17 and frame 18, so it adds a frame. It only adds 1 frame. Remember, active frames don't become active after the 17th frame. It becomes active on 17. Then it's 18 frames plus the second move, which is 18 frames plus 2 frames, which makes it 20. So 20 plus 18 is 38. So this works mainly because it says 36. Your advantage is 36, and that means you can hit them. I want to say, because it's not as easy to test, I want to say you're allowed to hit them on the 37th frame. And you're technically landing on the 38th frame. So technically they're down there for about a frame or 2. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it works. And that's why it lands. Feathers just asked, how come I don't add to the 18 frame attack? I did. I did already add it. I added 2 frames to it. Remember, it's 15 for the first move. You add 2 frames to that because it's technically 17. Then you have to add 1 additional frame because it's active on frame 17 and it's active on frame 18. And then after the 18th frame, then you count the next move, which is 18 frames plus 2 frames, which is 20. So 20 plus 18 is 38, and that's when the second move actually hits. Oh, why don't I add to the second move? I don't add to the second move because I'm understanding that the second move is actually hitting on the 18th frame. Well, not the 18th frame, obviously on the 20th frame. I'm assuming that it's actually landing on that first frame. Yeah, exactly what Night Up said. It's technically 20 frames, and I'm assuming it is hitting on the 20th frame. If it was not hitting on the 20th frame, most likely the computer would get up and hit me. Active frames are the middle. Active frames are the middle frame, the one in between parentheses. So you have the first frame, the frames of startup or whatever. Then you have the active frames in the middle. And the last one is not very important to a lot of you right now, but I can get into it later, maybe in a different class. Those are recovery, total recovery. So in other words, after that comes out, that's a recovery, also known as whiff recovery. Your recovery on whiff. Alright. Why weren't you my math teacher? For some reason, I'm a pretty good teacher for some reason. But anyway, moving on. Okay. So I was just trying to explain that situation right there. I gotta explain the other situations right here. Again, for all this stuff to work, you gotta have the computer recording and doing nothing. So that way you can see the hits. If you have the computer on its own, just like, hey, don't tech roll computer, it won't work the same way. It doesn't work. As you can see right here, it whiffs because the computer's getting up. They have access to certain frames that we don't, so they're automatically programmed to get up immediately as they land, and it's not realistic. Some people might be like, well, very few people might be, well, Master, I've done this before and it works, like in this situation. That's different. That's a knockdown. That's a hard knockdown. That applies to a lot of different situations like this as well. We can get into that later on. Those work differently. But we'll talk about that at a different time. But they don't apply the same way. So now what I need to do is I'm going to show you another situation. I just showed you this one. So when you don't tech roll that, that'll force you up. And then, of course, it'll show me my frame advantage. I'm plus 13, which is great. That's where I want to be. I want to be at plus advantage. I'm putting the pressure on you. You didn't tech roll. You should suffer for not tech rolling. You should be punished for that. Especially if you're right in front of me. You should not be allowed to lay down. Here's another setup. I'm going to do this move. That right there, the frame data is telling me 32 frames. So that means I got to land something on the 33rd frame or the 34th frame. Are you guys following me so far? For those of you guys that might be watching from your cell phone or something, I'm typing in the stream chat. So because I'm interacting with the chat, so you guys can respond. I understand that everybody can, so I'm trying to move forward as quickly as possible. Okay, so you guys understand that. The data just told me that's how much I have. And that's how much frames I have, 32 frames. So when someone doesn't tech roll, I need a move that's going to land there. Rather it be me running up and doing this, which I could do that, but of course, you know, that's not realistic because I don't think I'm landing there on the proper frame. I'm probably not landing there on the proper frame. And there's a way to test that, and I'm going to show you after this example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this combo, and this applies. This is guaranteed. This situation, this is for people that don't tech roll. We already went through the whole unholdable setup for people that do tech roll. We're going over the stuff for the people that don't tech roll. So this setup applies for people that don't tech roll. If he does that, that's guaranteed. I force him up on plus 17. That's a great situation for me. You know what? Don't tech roll that move. I will force your ass up. I'm gonna show it to you again. Now, if I did the math, we can go ahead and put it back into the lab and do the math. So obviously this kick has 2 kicks in it. If we want to do the math, we can. 21 frames plus 2 frames would make it 23 frames. You have to add another frame for the second active frame. So that would be 24 frames plus 7 frames. 7 frames plus 2 frames, so that's 9 frames. So 24 plus 9, which would make it 33. And since it's 33 frames, the data's correct, the numbers are correct, and they're never wrong. 33 frames will land on that frame. See how that makes sense? And all of this makes sense, guys. So if you can do the math and you just don't mess up, it'll always make sense to you guys. Are you guys mind blown how all this adds up? Because it always adds up. So you guys follow me? Does that make sense? Not mind blow, just really just addition? Yeah, it is. It is. Again, like I said, this move gives me plus 32. I'm just gonna go over it one more time. You're plus 32 frames, so you need to land on the 33rd frame or the 34th frame. Or your move's active frames, just so I can get more technical with you guys, your move's active frames have to reach that far. So if they come out active on the 32nd frame, just make sure that they're active for the 33rd frame or the 34th frame. For those of you guys that are getting this tech real quick, that's just how it works. Yes, 21 plus 2 plus 1 plus 7 plus 2 equals 33, I believe. That is correct. You guys are getting it. You guys are getting it. I'm proud of you guys. I'm getting amped right here. You guys are getting me excited. You need to relax. You need to relax, guys, because this stuff is like really good shit. Again, I want to emphasize that this applies to everybody. I need to see something here. So I'm going to show you another example. This example is a little bit trickier. This one will show you when you have the computer to record like this, it'll tell you the correct frame data. I don't think it tells you correctly here. Let me see. I don't really think so, but we'll see. Oh no, it'll still show you. It'll still show you. That's cool. It's just you won't be able to hit them. So I'm going to show you another example here. And this is why you have to have it on record. And I'm still going to go back to how you can test this on yourself. So check this out. So right now I have it, I don't have record on, but it's telling me I have 55 frames at advantage if they don't tech roll, because I have them not tech rolling right now. So 55 frames is my total advantage. So I'm going to go up to there. 55 frames, just so you guys understand, is a lot of frame advantage. 56 this time. Just depends on how far or how close I was with upkick and all that good stuff. So it can vary a little bit. In this case, just so you guys understand, 56 frames is a lot of frame advantage. It's ridiculous amount of frame advantage. It takes approximately 30 frames, I think it is. Approximately 30 frames for an average character, not characters that are particularly fast or particularly slow, but an average character, Hayabusa I like to consider average. He doesn't run particularly that fast, but he runs at a decent pace. It takes about 30 frames for one character to go from one end of the screen to the other the other end of the screen. Roughly, give or take. Like if you're right here and you start running, it'll take you about 30 frames. So being plus 36, I mean not 36, 56 is a good amount of frame advantage. I can literally run up and do other stuff. So this is really cool because this is something that applies to people that don't tech roll when they roll back. And this is why I've been doing this particular combo a lot more often. This combo is not strong by any means. I think I've mentioned this before. It's not strong by any means, but it lets me see visually what they're going to do. And lets me keep the pressure on as well. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to try to do this force tech, but it doesn't apply because the computer, I just told you, the computer has a particular setup where it's like he gets up instantly. So I got to have him on record so I can do it correctly. So now I'm going to do the same thing and it's going to land. I'm going to see them land, and there it is. Bam! Right there. And that's why I like doing that roll, because when I send you rolling back, if you don't tech roll, I'm going to see you go flat. I'm going to see you roll and then flat, and that gives me the perfect time because your legs are going to flop down, and when your legs are starting to flop down, I already know, alright, he's not tech rolling. I'm going to force his ass up. See what I'm saying? And when that happens, then, you know, I'm plus advantage, and I'm behind you at the same time. Or even if I don't teleport, I'm still have several, several positive frames to do other stuff. And I'm usually plus 10, so that means the chop is guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's the only character in the game that has this, by the way. But you have to do the just frame one. If you don't do the just frame teleport, you don't get that. Am I still with you guys? Yeah, if it has 2 active frames, that means it can hit them either on the 18th or 19th frame. That plays an important role later on. Okay, so now you guys need. Here's the thing I'm scared of. I'm scared of you guys testing this stuff and putting the computer right here. Like, see, I'm recording right now, as you can see. I'm scared of you guys hitting the record and then hitting and play and then doing a move like this and then be like, oh, it works. You know, like, oh, that's like, you know, if they don't tech roll, that works. Like, no, it is not. It's not like that. So, how do you do this? How would you do this? Well, since this is DOA5 and it has a record option, there's a reason for that. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this example again, which is this one right here. That lands, right? Okay. Now, how did I know for sure that landed? Like, how did I know? I can't make the computer do a get-up kick. I mean, I just had him on records, and if I record and do kicks and buttons and all this other stuff, it's not gonna work the same way, because when I hit play, he might tech roll. You know what I'm saying? And if he tech rolls, then that ruins the whole thing, because that's not what I need. That's not what I need him to do. You see what I'm saying? Now he tech rolls, so it's like, oh crap, you know, that's not what I want. So this is how you definitively check your work. This is how you double check your work. If you don't trust the numbers, if you feel like, yeah, I don't know, the numbers might be off by 1 frame, or I might be hitting them on the later active frame, I'm not sure, Master. It looks kind of sketchy. This is how you do it. You hit record, and now you're the other character. So now we're going to be this character. So I need to test this setup on myself. I need to make sure that if I don't tech roll on purpose, if this will work. So all you got to do is just hit record and start doing it. And here's a quick shortcut for you guys, so you guys don't have to hit play and then record again. All you got to do to start the record counter over, just in case you didn't know this, you just hit start and you unpause it and it starts over. So there you go. So it saves you some time. Anytime you're just sitting here talking like I am, you can just hit start, unpause it, it'll start the counter over, and you'll go straight into the first things you just did. So that'll save you some time. That's just a shortcut. So anyway, I'm going to test it on my own. So I just had the computer do that. So now I got to have him test it. Hold on, let him do his thing. So now I'm going to have him do it right here. I'm not going to tech roll, and I'm going to make sure it forces me up. So if I try to get up right there, I can't. It's not letting me. The game is not allowing me to get up because I didn't tech roll, and he's forcing me up every single time. And this is how you double check your work. See, I can't. I'm going to get hit up every time. Now if I tech roll, it's not an issue. I can tech roll and be like, okay, I'll just hold you or whatever. But you know, if you start tech rolling and you visually as a player start seeing them tech roll, then you obviously know other setups, or you start doing other things. But see, I can't. Like you'll see the buttons at the bottom. I'm mashing them. I'm gonna mash them. Watch. See, I can't get up. Nothing happens. I can't. It's guaranteed. And that's how you do it. Master versus master. Exactly. Master versus master. That's funny. Let's see if I can do it. No, I don't think I can. Sorry, guys. You guys got me sidetracked in here. You guys making me want to do other stuff. Anyway, that's how you double check your work. And that's how you keep the pressure for those people that don't tech roll. Now, I'm going to show you guys something else. That's how you double check your work. Remember, so if you try to do this, watch, I'm going to show you a quick example. If you guys try to do this, hold on. And you're like, oh, that works, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It does not work. Well, it might, in this case, it might actually. No, it won't. So you're like, oh, it works. No, it doesn't. So I'm going to do the same thing. See, I got up. And I can do a get up kick. Look at that. See? That's how you double check your work. That's how you know if something works or it doesn't work. Frame data is important to know if somebody doesn't tech roll, because if they don't tech roll, you need to know how many frames you have to do a move that hits the floor to force them up. Or you need to know how many frames you have for a person that tech rolls, what move you can do to land on an unholdable frame, or just something that would prevent them from doing an attack. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the wall. This applies to the wall. Yes, indeed it does. So that move right there I have plus 42 frames. In this case, since I have plus 42, I need a move that lands on 42 frames. I don't have a move that hits the floor and lands on 42 frames. Could I time it? Sure, I could. But you're talking about 2 frames of potentially trying to hit it. So that's really hard. So it's always best to try to find a pre-timed move. I can also do something like this and be like, all right, I think he's on the floor. Let's go try to hit him. Go ahead and try to hit. Go ahead and try to hit him now. But That's risky as well. You don't want to do anything that risky. You want to make sure that whatever you're doing is already pre-timed, so if they don't, you already landed. You want to lower the amount of risk already. You're already going to probably take a risk, so you want to lower the amount of risk. You see what I'm saying? So in this case, with this particular setup, I am plus 42 frames. So what do I have that lands on 42 frames? Well, I have this move that's 33 frames. If I hold it, it can come out in 46, but that doesn't force up. This move obviously doesn't land on it because I just tried it right now. Doesn't land. So at this point, you have to look into strings, and this is going back to what I was just talking about. You're like, oh wait, didn't we just do strings? Yes, we did. In this case, I won't be able to use this string setup. Doesn't work the same way, unfortunately. It's close, but it doesn't because we already established that the move lands on the 38th frame. You know what I'm saying? And here we go. We're gonna go into the second active frames of this move because somebody was acting, how come you don't add it? Well, you don't have to add it because it already lands on that 20th frame or whatever. So we know it's 38 frames. The first hit right there is 38. The second one would have been 39, and since it has 3 active frames, it would have been 40. So unfortunately, I have 42 frames. So I need a hit on the 43rd frame or the frame right after. So unfortunately, this doesn't hit. It hits too early. It doesn't apply. It's unfortunately not useful to me. So I can do other moves. I can do something like this. Let's see if this works. Boom. That works. Okay, let's work with that, right? So now we got to double check our work. So this is how you would double check it. You already did the math, so that's never wrong. Almost like hardly ever wrong. So you already did the math, but let's go ahead and just mess around. Does this work? I gotta test it. Oh, wrong combo. Hold on. I like to give the computer some time to not move so I can prepare for the next time I test it again. So I'm gonna record again for a little bit and then do the attack. Okay. So now I'm gonna wait for him to do it. And then afterwards, I'm going to double check my work. I shouldn't be able to do a get up kick, but let's see. Nope, I can do a get up kick. So it doesn't apply. Obviously, the math didn't add up the way I did because I didn't do the math. I didn't even count it. I didn't see how much back punch was or whatever. I just went ahead and just did the move. You know what I'm saying? If I would have done the add, I would have been like 15 plus 17 plus another frame is going to be, you know, 18 plus these 2 moves would have been 24 plus 2 frames, 26 plus 7 plus 2, that would have been 20. That would have been 9 more frames. So I didn't do the math. Let's just put it at that. Let's just leave it at that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and knock him into the wall and do another move. This move right here, just so you know, takes 20 frames. Technically, it's 21 frames because it has to go into the stance. I'm pretty sure it's 21 frames. So what I'm going to do is this setup works because it's already pre-timed. This takes 20 frames. That takes 20 frames. So 20 frames plus 20 frames is 40 frames. But we all know that the uppercut takes 21 frames. I mean, the uppercut is going to take 22 frames. I'm sorry. It takes 22 frames because you got to add 2 frames to it. So even if this is 21 or just 20 frames exactly, doesn't matter. You gotta add 2 frames to that, and that lines it up perfectly for this. So any of you guys that see me play, you guys probably see me do this to you. You can't tech roll it. If you sit there on the floor, that's guaranteed. And I get plus 10. I'm not necessarily always behind you, but I'm still plus 10, and it confuses the opponent. Probably changes the camera. I already know what I'm gonna do for my next move. It's either gonna be an Azuna or a tracking move. So that's just how the game works. And what's really cool with this particular setup, and I'm sure your characters will have setups like this, is that whenever I do that combo, regardless if I do any other combo, as long as I finish it the same way, I'll always get that setup for free for me. So if I finish this with this, this will never change. See, it'll force them up, and I get it for free. If I do something else, then that's a different story. See, now it's 37. I got to do the math for something that lands on the 37th or 38th frame right there. But since I'm doing this one, because 1, it's a good option already, and 2, I already know what to do, and it's already pre-timed. I don't have to worry about it. Are you guys following me so far? I just want to make sure I'm not losing anybody here. Okay. So that applies to walls, and that applies to half walls as well. I'm gonna go ahead and go to a different room, different stage. I'm gonna need something that has a flat wall and maybe a partition. We'll see. We're gonna mess around here, guys. Hold on. I need a half wall. What else do I need? I need a stage that has all that. I think I'm gonna go with this one. $20. That particular setup takes 20. There's another setup where it takes them like 25. I think this one takes them 25. No, 30. It takes them 30. This one takes 20. Remember the frame data of the game, and the game shows you the frame data, so it'll show you. I think this is a half wall right here. Cool. So now, since this is a half wall, the frames have changed, I guess you can say. You know what I'm saying? The frames have changed, and I need something that lands right there. I don't think this is land on there. Yeah, it doesn't land because it lands just a frame too early, unfortunately. It needs to land right after he's already there because it doesn't register. So that's kind of lame. Hold on. Yeah, too early. So you got to keep that into account. Whenever you go to a different wall, you got to keep that into account and be like, okay, it doesn't apply in this particular walls. You know what I'm saying? So in that case, I'd have to do something else. You know what I'm saying? And I usually do something else. I'll do something like this where it's really hard. Like you can still tech roll that, but it's really tight. Like you have like less than a frame. So if you're not pushing it or mashing it, you're gonna get hit. And it's okay because if people start tech rolling off the walls, just so you know, rather it be a flat wall. Let me go to a flat wall real quick. If you start forcing them off the wall, and you're realizing that, then they'll start tech rolling off the wall. And if they start tech rolling off the wall, that gets rid of the get up kick. So they can't take off the wall immediately afterwards and do a get up kick. It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? You get off the floor and you gotta take the next hit. So this is called, I guess, limiting the options of your opponent so it can make your job easier. You know. And again, both these situations, the unholdable setups and the force ground game and stuff like that, they're both they're a lot more tame than from what they used to be. But it's easier to use them, and it's manageable now compared to what they were before. Well, they're more what they were before, because before it was a lot easier to force somebody up. But in this case, it's just a lot more manageable. You know what I'm saying? Knowing this information makes it like, okay, the floor game, the ground game is not as frustrating. It's still frustrating, but not as frustrating now, because now I know the frames, I know what moves to do, and I know I'm gonna force this guy up because he loves to lay on the floor. He loves to lay on the floor. Now, what's really cool though, is if they start tech rolling, what's really cool is if you're doing the ground game and you're forcing them up and they start tech rolling, well, that opens up a whole new can of worms. Anytime you tech roll, what happens? That means you are susceptible to an unholdable setup. So let's just say I'm doing combos or whatever, and I'm doing this to them, and in this point I'm gonna go ahead and put it on counter hit just so I can make my job a little easier. So just keep that in mind. It's on counter hit, and that doesn't mean every move I'm doing is a stun. If I'm doing this and they're starting to tech roll, like they're not getting hit by that anymore, they're actually doing the tech roll, then that means they're open to unholdable setups now. So it opens up a new kind of like, hey, if you tech roll, then I'm gonna hit you with this, and if you don't tech roll, then I might hit you with this. So who's gonna take the dice? Who's gonna roll the dice here? It puts that sense of pressure, like, shit, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna force me up? Is he really gonna do it? And if he forces me up, you know, what am I gonna do next? You know what I'm saying? Because if they start tech rolling, then that means I can do stuff like this. You see what I'm saying? Because he started forcing them up. He started putting it in their head like, hey, if you stay on the floor, I'm going to force you up. So you better get up. Mind games. DOA mind games on the freaking 5th level. I'm going to go back to this one, to a different wall. And I'm gonna do this setup instead. So that force text, because I know that because I know the frame data and stuff like that. Is it that one? No, it's not. Oh yeah, it's this one. I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong move. So after that, it says I'm plus 23. This move is 22, lands on the 24th frame. So if I do this on the wall and I go like this, I can do this, and that'll force him up. I can double check my work real quick. Remember, we gotta double check work. So now I'm gonna have him play. Oh, I had a feeling that was gonna happen. So let's check our work here. Oh, that was crazy. I actually got up. Oh, see, I couldn't get up that time. That's why it's good to check it. See, I tried to get up again, I couldn't. See? That's how you do it. You guys with me here? And of course, once I force them up with that move, if I'm starting to force them up with that setup, and this setup is actually strong, so those triple kicks right there is actually not a bad setup. I'm personally still not used to it. Most of the time I just do this. Most of the time I just do this, but it's okay because I can switch it up, and the triple kicks are actually a little bit stronger. I can do the triple kicks and then go into that, force them up, get plus 23, do whatever I want to do, rather be a guard break like this, put them into the same situation again, boom, put them back in there, boom, oh, into the partition, let's go. You see what I'm saying? So all you got to do with your character is just look into the frame data and make sure it works. Now let's just assume in this particular wall setup, they start tech rolling, right? I'm doing either the triple kicks or I'm doing something, and I'm like, all right, he's starting to tech roll. I'm going to finish it a little bit different this time. So this time, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to have the computer tech roll. I'm going to actually set him up to tech roll. I'm going to have him set up to guard. No, I'm going to have him hold. I'm going to have him hold mid-punch. So if I don't do this correctly, then he's gonna hold me, and then I'm gonna show you incorrect way. So there you go, he held me. Remember when I said when you tech roll off of anywhere, as long as it's not a rollback tech, you're susceptible to unholdable setups now. So I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this instead. Unholdable. I'm gonna do it one more time. Some of you guys already seen this technique one time. I said I was going to talk about it, and here it is again. Oh, that was weird. Yes. In that case, the only reason it didn't land is because it might have landed on a later frame. Remember the active frames I was talking about? It might have landed on a later active frame, which is why it got held. So keep that in mind, guys. Oh, he teched backwards. That's the only thing that can change it. But hardly anybody techs backwards into a wall because you're trying to get out of the wall. You're not trying to go back into it. So I'm going to look at the data again. I'm going to hold twice. I think I have to hold twice, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I have to hold twice, okay. Yeah. So right there, it's plus 16, but I held twice, so I got to add 31 to it. So 31 plus 16 is 47. And 47, that means the 48th frame they can't hold, and this happens to land on the 48th frame, which makes that move unholdable. Now let's just assume, well, big deal, you get a little bit of frame advantage. Well, normally you would get a little bit of frame advantage, but on a full charge, you get a lot of a frame advantage. So I'm going to show you exactly what happens when I have them guard everything afterwards. So that's guaranteed. That chop is guaranteed. So even though it's guard, guard is your best option. In this case, it's not your best option. Well, it's probably still your best option, actually. It's just you're trying to, at this point, you're trying to play damage control. You're just kind of like, oh crap, he's gonna smack me with this, and what's gonna happen next? Or you can just take the punch, and the punch is gonna take like almost 60 frames. So you're either taking the punch or you're gonna take the mix-up. So it's up to you. What do you want? Boom, and then I can go into this and do an air throw, whatever it is I want. Now I'm going to talk about another different thing. I know there's a lot of people out there that are wondering, man, like there's usually a juggle. There's usually a juggle that you're doing. You're like, man, it looks like it lands. Like if I just execute this just a little bit faster, or if I just do this a little bit quicker, or if I landed it in a certain frame, if I landed it from really, really far away like this, instead of being really, really close like this, I might be able to land a certain combo. I'm almost positive. I'm pretty sure. Like it looks like you can land. Have any of you guys done a combo where you're just kind of like, man, I just want to get that last hit and I wish it would hit? You guys ever done that? The third number is a whiff. Well, I call it whiff. Third number is total recovery of the move after its execution. Somebody asked what the third number on the frame beta is. It's the recovery of your move after its execution. I call it whiff recovery because that's technically you whiffing. So that's 28 frames of recovery. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys the, I guess, the secret, you can call it, the secret of finding out if a move is actually possible to land. If it is actually possible to land. It's like if it's a move that you're like, man, it looks like it's gonna land and blah blah blah. I'm gonna tell you exactly if it does land or if it doesn't. This setup right here, actually this setup right here. I'm gonna do this. Some moves, just so you guys know, have certain hitboxes, obviously, right? But if you have a move, let's just say, for example, like this. If you have a move like this that comes from the ground and hits up, or has a big like hitbox, like the handstand as well. A lot of characters have moves like that. If they have a big hitbox that cleans up the whole row like that, and you're trying to figure out if it hits or doesn't, here's the easiest way to find out. Launch your opponent, and when they tech roll, this is going to give you frame advantage. That frame advantage is actually the amount of frames they're in the air. So in this case, I want you to understand. So like, oh snap, I have 26 frames to do a move that would land in 26 frames. So technically I could do something like this if I wanted to, you know what I'm saying? But you know, that first kick is not really good. So this should land, I think. Oh, see the hit frames. See how the hit frames come downwards? Hold on. You need to move. See, that lands. And this is 20 frames, but technically it comes active on the 22nd frame. And they're in the air for 26 frames. But in reality it's not 26 frames, it's 25 frames. 26 frame is the frame they hit the floor on. So you can't hit them on the 26th frame. You have to hit them by the 25th frame or sooner. So if you don't do it, then it's not gonna land. So I'm gonna show you a setup. Like this setup. Oh, hold on. Let me have them do this, but let me have them tech roll as well. Okay, cool. So this setup right here, I'm gonna show you something. After that is 19 frames, so I have to hit them within the 18th frame. You know what I'm saying? So the handstand is 14 frames, but it lands on the 16th frame. So that's pretty close, but it's a true mid. Like a true mid usually means a move that you can't normally crush with a crushing attack unless it's like something like the Bakuho or something like that, like a Bakuho duck. That doesn't apply the same way. It usually just applies to moves that, you know, they're really low, you're trying to evade them, you try to go under like this or whatever. That's a true mid. Like if you try to go under those moves, that's gonna scoop you up because that's a true mid. This will scoop you up as well. This will scoop you up as well. The handstand will scoop you up. There's no going under those moves with any move unless it's something like the Bakuho duck. You know what I'm saying? So in this case, you're gonna do the handstand takes 16 frames to land, but you gotta crouch at least one frame. You need one frame to crouch, at least one. So you gotta already be punching it in there. You know what I'm saying? It has to be quick. The way I'm showing it here might look fast, but it's not easy to do. In this case, this is what essentially is the just frame handstand, because to land this combo the way I'm doing it here, it has to be done under just frame. There's no way you're gonna land that combo one frame later, because the handstand takes 16 frames. You need another frame to duck, so it's 17 frames. But even when you pull back to do the execution, you're using up another frame, because I've already tried doing it on something that makes them land on like the 18th frame. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You have to land it on that frame. So anytime you're doing a juggle, you're doing something like this, and you're trying to see, what do I get after that? Okay, he's up in the air for 24 frames. I can do other moves. I can do something like this. That means this move should land. And it does. You see what I'm saying? Because that comes out on the 22nd frame. There's some moves where you're just like, okay, that looks like it lands too. See right there? It's 19. This kick is 19, but it's gonna land on the 20th frame. I mean on the 21st frame. So it's not gonna really land. Even if I try to, see? It's gonna whiff automatically. So that tells you exactly what juggles are actually possible to land if you just look at the frame data when you tech roll. And again, in order to see that stuff, all you gotta do is just let them tech roll, and you'll see how many frames you have to actually hit them while they're in the air. Does that make sense? The combos I'm doing do more damage than Izuna in specific situations. They don't do it in every situation. And that's how I know I can land certain combos. So like whenever I do this, I know I have a certain amount of frames to land a handstand. But again, it's really, you know, those situations, I like to do them and they're cool and all, but they're very strict. See? I got very, very low chance of landing it if I don't do this, but I got it right there. You see what I'm saying? My trick for the just frame handstand is just crouch dashing, because crouch dashing gets you down in 0 frames. Some people like to do like a little like hurricane kick type of thing, and it works too. But it's a little funky to me, because when I do it that way, it's hard. You can do a hurricane kick also as well, but I'm not very comfortable with that. I'm gonna try to do it here. See, it's not very comfortable for me. So some people like to do a little hurricane kick motion, and personally for me, it doesn't work very well. It has worked in the past, but it's not really good. I like to do down forward, so down forward crouch dash, because crouch dashing crouches in technically 0 frames, but it's 1 frame to crouch dash, and then I do back kick. So you guys have gotten everything down, though. You guys understand how force teching somebody. All you got to do to find out the force tech is look at the frame data when they don't tech roll. Make sure you put them on record so you can see how to test it, how to double check your work, and how much time you actually have to land another move when they're in the air, and unholdable setups. You guys got it all down? You guys good? That's good to hear. Handstand, the handstand kick input is while rising kick. In other words, you have to be crouching to do it. You have to be in a crouching state to do a handstand. You can't just do back kick. It's crouching, and then while you're getting up like that, you do back kick. Again, if you have more questions, of course, you can hit me up on Facebook, Twitter. Obviously, if you follow me on Twitch, I'll talk about stuff like this in the future. Seems like we have a good amount of interest. I like the results that you guys got in today. This applies to everything I talked about today. Applies to every single character. It's not specific to Hayabusa. I just do it with Hayabusa to save time. These rules universally always apply. So if I knock somebody down into this, and I do this, and I go like this, and I go like this, it still applies. Didn't change. The same kind of setup still apply. The unholdable is still there. If they didn't tech roll, if I did the force tick, it would have applied the same way. The rules do not change. All you gotta do is do the legwork with your character to figure it out. Once you figure it out, then you'll probably know new setups. Will be like, hey, you know what? I didn't know I can do this. Somebody was saying earlier during the lesson that I was like, well, when you do this or whatever, and you land them on the floor, and you're like holding 3 times to find out how much frame advantage you have. Technically, you can do that. I'm gonna show you a new setup. This is brand spanking new. Okay, you guys. Oh my God, the stuff I'm about to show you right now is amazing. You can do anything. You can do any setup is technically possible if you just look at the frames. Oh my God, the stuff I'm about to show you right now is gonna be out of this world. Anyway, if I do this, how does the setup work? Jesus. Okay, so check this out. I'm gonna show you a setup that makes my 4-4 kick unholdable. Now remember earlier I found I'm gonna have this set up to hold. Have him hold mid punch. No, have him hold mid kick. So earlier I showed you a setup that would give me the power blow guaranteed. There's other setups besides that one. There's another one I can show you. Let's see if I can just do this one real quick so I can show you. Some are practical, more practical than others. Other ones not so much. That's another setup. There's another setup. There's several setups. You just gotta do the legwork. You gotta be creative. You know, I love being creative in this game, and this game lets me be creative like a mother. So now, the one I'm gonna show you now is gonna be a setup to guarantee me the 4-4 kick. It takes 20 frames to do. It'll land me the up 4 kick. Takes 20 frames to do. It'll land me the down 4 people's kick. Takes 20 frames to do, and people's kick takes 20 frames to do. So it's unholdable. And it's for this particular setup. So after I do this, the computer's set to hold mid kick, which you just saw right there. He's not gonna hold my mid kick. See that? I hope you guys are paying attention here. See that? Couldn't hold it. If he guarded it, I would have been +5, and I could have kept the pressure going. You can block it. You can block the power blow. For those people that are asking if you can block the power blow, it's just unholdable. But again, it doesn't really matter if you block it because it becomes unblockable because it's charged and then it's a guard break. You get the idea. Now everybody knows that 4-4 kick is mad linear. Like you can sidestep easily. But since this applies to that specific rule and it lands on that specific frame, you can't sidestep it. And you can do this, you can double check your work with these setups as well. I was like, you know what, let me double check my work. I'm gonna tech roll. See? Hold on. Whoa. Can't hold it. Try to hold it. Couldn't hold it. It's guaranteed. Now I'm going to tell you exactly. Somebody just asked, what is the grab doing? The grab is lowering the amount of frames that I need. You see what I'm saying? Previously, I would have the... Let me see. Is this computer still technical? Okay. So previously, when you did this, and you did something like this or whatever, you would have to hold like 3 times, right? And then you would have to have the computer hold. So I already did the research. I already did the research as to how I can do this. So you're just shortening the frame. So I'm going like this, going like this. I'm holding, right? So I land technically on the same frame on the third one. So technically I'm +62. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a different move. You don't always have to do holds. Just so you know, you can manipulate the frames however you want. You can so you can mix match moves. So I'm going to do this instead. an Izuna throw and then hold. So I did an Izuna throw and then I held, and I'm plus 21 frames. So that means the 22nd frame is unholdable. Does that make sense to you guys? Exactly. You guys are already gonna see. You guys are freaking geniuses. I love you guys. You guys are getting it. And what I like about this particular setup, is that I can go like this and force you up, right? But if I feel like you're doing that too often, I'm not sure what you're gonna do. I can do that same setup like this, do Izuna throw, and if you don't tech up, I can just do a ground pound to get you there, or I can go for it. But I can visually see what you're doing a little easier. It's not super easy, but I can still see it. So I just buffer in that, and then I hit you with that. And this applies to well, he's holding mid punch, so I'm just gonna show you a mid punch example. So well, that should have worked. You gotta be on point too. If you off by even a little bit, it's not gonna work. See? You didn't hold that. I can do this move too. See? This keeps going. So, I think somebody's asking me to explain this again, this particular part. What I'm doing here is I'm doing the Izuna throw to cut down on the frames. It's just like a buffer. I'm cutting out a lot of frames, because if I don't cut the frames down, I potentially have 62 frames of advantage. So instead of doing 1 or 2 holds, I'll rather just do a throw, and I can technically just do the math of the throw. I just be like, okay, I'm gonna end up losing 12 plus another active frame, 13 plus 26. I'm gonna lose all those frames, but it's gonna cut it down to a frame that I really want, and that frame happens to be that guard break that I want. So that's all I'm doing the throw and then going to the kick. See, and then I can set up. Make sense to you guys? Does it make more sense? You can do this with any character. I want to thank everybody that's in the chat right now. Just I know I'm not doing the special shout outs or anything like that, but I'm glad a lot of you guys are here taking notes, reading into it. I know it's a lot of information for some of you guys to take. I know not everybody's getting it just as quickly as everybody else. So if you guys help each other out, it'll be good. You guys will all grow as players. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, there's a lot more setups that even I don't know about. I've known a lot of this stuff for a good amount of time. Some not so long, like some of those setups I'm showing you right now. They're pretty new. So there's several things to discover with your character, and there's different ways to manipulate these frames so you can land on a move that you want to land on. Rather it be if they tech roll, they don't tech roll. There's different ways to do it, to set it all up. All you got to do is go into training mode, do exactly how I'm doing it. Double check your work. Always double check your work, because you don't want to give out false information, and that's something I try to avoid. You want to make sure you double check your work and make sure that everything's good. Just always double check your work, and just follow the rules I'm explaining here. This stuff is really good stuff. I don't share this normally. This is the Ninja Hideout. You guys are all in the Ninja Hideout right now. This is the kind of stuff you see me do in training mode. So if you see me in training mode, which a lot of you guys I'm sure see me in training mode, that's where I play a lot. This is what I'm doing. I'm essentially, in theory, since I'm putting it on record and I'm testing my stuff, in theory, yes, I am fighting against myself. I'm trying to figure out what it is that I can do to improve myself by essentially fighting myself into a certain extent, trying my own setups, making sure it works. What helps? What doesn't work? Well, how can I manipulate this? I don't like this setup. Can I do something else that'll change it up? Can this be tech roll? Can this not be tech roll? Okay. Yeah, any character. This applies to all characters. All the stuff I'm showing you applies to all characters. Yeah, actually, somebody just said Akira is gonna be even more guard break. You know what? To be honest with you, there's probably setups with Akira. If you manipulate the frames the right amount and you do the math, I wouldn't be surprised if Akira had a setup where it guarantees them that guard break and gives them guaranteed damage. You just gotta look for it, guys. You just gotta look for it. You gotta look deep into it. This is the deep side of the DOA, world. This is, that's how you find it. If they don't tech, then nothing happens. They'll lay on the floor. You'll whiff the throw, and then it's up to you if you want to follow up with the attack that normally would be unholdable, or if you just want to notice them not teching as your throw is whiffing, and just do a ground pound or just force them up with a back kick or something like that. You know what I'm saying? The whole idea is to not always make the opponent feel like they always have control. Show them that on sometimes, you know what, I'm gonna risk it and I'm gonna throw something out there. And sometimes it's not even that much risk. The most that you put out there is like a whiff attack. It's like, oh, you hit me with something that took 20 points. Oh, I didn't want to pick the stage. Okay, so this class is about to end soon. I want to make sure I stay on schedule. I try not to make it longer than 2 hours, but I will answer questions afterwards if you guys want me to, in regards to the class. Who here was on the last class? Who was here the last time? Can I have a show of hands? Can I have a show of hands of? By the way, when you ground pound somebody, that forces them up eventually. They can still do a get up kick, but they have a smaller amount of time to do a get up kick. But who was here in the last class? Who was here in the previous class? And saw me do the combo here. I'm gonna set this up real quick. Counter, sure. I know this is another combo that I said I wasn't gonna show you, but I'm gonna show you guys this time because you guys deserved it. You guys exceeded my expectations. You guys got a lot of people. We had about what was it? About 100 people on the stream. You guys are amazing. You guys showed a lot of interest. I want to thank everybody that retweeted, Team Ninja themselves, everybody that took the time to show that, hey, you guys are interested. You guys like this kind of stuff, the stuff that digs deep into the game, and that's always good to see. Okay, so there's some people that weren't here on the first stream. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a combo that I showed the stream last time that they loved. This is technically possible with all characters. This combo wasn't it hasn't been in any combo video. I have a lot of combos still that, even though there was a recent combo video that showed my unholdable setup, which I wasn't very happy of, but it's okay, it's out, I'm over it. It's glad to know that even though they're finding some gems in there, there's other gems that I still have, and this was one of them. So I'm going to show you how this one works for the people that haven't seen it. Of course, my timing always is off. Last time it was cutting off on the stream, so it was a little harder to do, but this time we're doing really good. So oh man, I missed it. I like that one. That one's flashy. It's guaranteed too, but I'm not gonna do that one. I'm just gonna do a simple one. That's guaranteed. It's a guaranteed combo. You can do this with just about everything. You can do this with just about anyone, any character. Some characters will probably be easier than others, but you can pretty much do that with anybody. I was trying to do the other one because the other one's flashier and it's guaranteed still, so that's why I kind of liked it. So if you land this like that, oh, but I have to run up on that one. See, pretty nice, right? I'm gonna do it one more time. And remember, you guys can do whatever you want. Like, there's different ways of landing. I'm gonna leave that up to you. I'm gonna show you one other way I can do it. See, you can do it that way as well. So just imagine somebody held right there and you got them. It'd be a beautiful thing, wouldn't it? Oh man, it's hard. It's hard right there. But it's possible. I don't think I'm gonna get that one though. Yeah. I got called hacker. Now Hayabusa, as far as I know, is the only character that can do it on both hands. Believe it or not. He's the only character that is actually possible to do with both hands. So I'm gonna try to do it again. Oh, there you go, on the first try, baby. Get you some! I'm sorry, I get hyped. It's really cool. I like it. I invented it. You know, I'm excited about it. Chances of landing the second one, though, are really, really rare. Okay, so those were the combos. Those were the combos I showed you guys last time. And then at that time I said I wasn't gonna show you one, but this time I'm gonna show you guys one because you guys have been really, really amazing. You guys have caught on to a lot of stuff. I know not everybody has caught on, and it's okay. You guys are gonna learn it little by little. This one, oh man, you guys are gonna be mad at this one. You guys ready? Are you guys ready to be mind blown? I want to make sure you guys are ready. Hold on, I'm gonna put the controller down. I want to make sure you guys are ready. Ready? Are you guys ready? Ready? Because I don't think you're ready. Alright, here you go. Alright, you're about to see Hayabusa do some gangster. Oh my god, the stuff I come up with is hilarious. Oh, where am I? Okay, here we go. Get you some. How did that make you feel right now? How did that make you feel? I got him back turned. You guys like that? You guys like that? Let me know. Let me know. If it's not good, I'll just stop right now. Okay? You know what? I get it. I'm not that good. We'll stop. You guys are funny, man. This is real life right now. This is real life. You think it's a game? It's not. It's not a game. See, I appreciate you guys, you know, trying to put something together, trying to put some combo videos together. But you guys aren't ready. I got more combo video. I got more combos. You know, I got more combos in the works. They get nasty, okay, guys. That's 100% guaranteed as well. In this case, it wouldn't be until the second hit hits. So once that hits right there, that would be guaranteed. Then you would, you know, obviously knock them in there. And then what would you do? I would Izuna punch hold the Buddha's hand. Izuna punch hold the Buddha's hand. I couldn't lift him up in the air, so I moved to the side. I kept beating up the other guy. I was fighting Buddha, and then Buddha came on my side, and we were friends, and you know that's how it ended up being. Me and Buddha are like this. We work together. This is tag team without it being tag team. You think it's a game? It's not. This is real life. I don't think I'm gonna get it. No. Oh, I glitched the game. Check this out. Live on stream is glitched. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh man. I mean, I meant to do this. It's not glitched at all. This is you know. I broke the game. Wow, I broke the game. Wow. This is really happening on live stream. Wow, I broke the game. What? It just came back? What the hell? Oh my god. That was insane. It was the Omega fight, man. I brought it back to you guys. So, you know, I felt a little nostalgic. I wanted to bring it back to you guys. What are the chances? What are the chances? Wow. You guys, obviously the stream is too powerful right now. One thing I wanted to just remind everybody. These setups, they're good. Not the combo setup. I'm talking about the class in general. The unholdable setups, the force text and stuff like that. I think they're good. I don't think they're too strong. I think it's very important that since we're so many of us are here that we tweet Team Ninja right now. And let them know not to patch like the unholdables. I think it's something that's not overpowered. It seems overpowered, but it's not overpowered because remember, it's a 50-50 mix-up. It's like, you know, if you tech roll, then maybe you'll get hit up. You'll get hit with a strong move, and if you don't tech roll, then I have to rely on other setups. It's not guaranteed. It's not a setup that automatically puts you in the same spot like it did in DOA4. It's a little different. So I think we should all just let them know how we feel overall about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm glad you guys were here. I'm glad you guys shared it. If you guys want to keep up with me, just hit me up on Facebook, Twitter. Obviously, I'm on Instagram and other places as well. Follow me on Twitch so you guys know when I'm streaming. And I hope you guys liked the little extra cookie I left at the end. The treats. With the combos. Obviously you can test this stuff with your characters. This is possible with all characters as far as I know. You just gotta know which combos to do. You can't just do whatever combo. There's specific combos you gotta do. I hope you guys learned a lot today. I will be highlighting the video and I'll have it saved in the archives, and then just tweet me or hit me up on DOA World or Free Step Dodge, and let me know that you want it on YouTube, but I'll probably transfer it over to YouTube. Usually I don't do those kind of things on my YouTube channel because I always do other stuff. But if you guys want it on there, I understand not everybody can watch it on Twitch with their phone or whatever. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope people watching in Japan, hope people watching in Europe, not just Japan, anywhere in Asia, anywhere in Europe. I hope you guys are enjoyed it. Maybe you guys learned something. TFC is around the corner, so I'm sure these tactics will be looked up on and will be exploited a lot more. Thank you, my ninjas, for coming into the Ninja Hideout. Class is now over, and I'm gonna end the stream here. And but I'll still be in the chat. I'll be in the chat, and you guys can talk to me on the chat, and you guys can ask questions. You can tell me whatever, especially in regards to the class as well. So I'll try to touch up on. I'll try to think of the next subject because you guys have really made it happen. Until then, stay ninja, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.